This is part one of the Odyssey, the land of the Cyclopes. In the next land we found were Cyclopes, giants who lived without laws. These giants didn't know how to farm. They didn't plant seeds or plow fields, even though wild wheat, barley, and grapes grew everywhere. The gods made these plants grow without anyone's help. The Cyclopes had no meetings or government. Each one lived alone in a mountain cave. Each was the boss of his own family. They didn't care about their neighbors. As we sailed closer to the land, we saw a huge cave near the water. The cave had laurel trees around it. Many sheep and goats stood nearby inside a pen made of heavy stones. The pen had tall pine trees and oak trees around it. A prodigious man lived in this cave alone. He took his animals to graze far from other giants. He was savage and wild. He was so huge, he didn't look human at all. He looked more like a shaggy mountain standing alone. We stopped our ship on the beach. I told most of my crew to stay and watch the ship. I took my 12 best fighters and went to explore. I brought a gift, a goat skin full of sweet wine that was given to me on the island of the Cyclopes. The wine was so strong that 1 cup needed to be mixed with 20 cups of water. The smell was still wonderful, and no one could resist it. I brought this wine and some food because I knew in my bones we would meet a powerful wild creature who knew nothing about being polite to guests. We walked quickly to the cave, but the Cyclops wasn't home. He was out in the fields with his sheep. We looked around inside and found cheese drying on racks, pens full of baby lambs and goats, organized by age, and clay bowls full of whey. My men begged me, "Let's take the cheese, open the pens, and run back to our ship with the animals." This was a smart idea, but I refused. I wanted to see the cave's owner and what gifts he might offer us. This turned out to be a terrible mistake for my friends. We lit a fire, made an offering to the gods, ate some cheese, and waited silently. When the giant returned, he carried dry branches on his shoulder for his evening fire. He threw them down with a crash, and we ran scared to the far wall. The Cyclops brought in the female sheep he wanted to milk. He left the male sheep and goats outside. Then he closed the cave by placing a massive rock over the entrance. The rock was so huge that 24 wheeled wagons with teams of horses couldn't have moved it. The giant sat down and carefully milked each sheep. He let each mother feed her baby. Then he turned the milk into cheese curds and whey. He put the curds in baskets to drain and save the whey to drink later. The Cyclops discovers us. When the Cyclops finished his work, he built up the fire. In the bright light, he saw us. "Strangers," he said, "who are you? Where do you come from? Are you traitors, or are you pirates who risk your lives to steal from others?" Our hearts pounded with fear at his deep voice and huge size. But I answered, "We are Greeks from Troy, blown off course by storms on our way home. Zeus decided our path. We served under Agamemnon. Everyone knows what city he destroyed and what armies he defeated. We ask for your help or gifts. It's the custom to be kind to strangers. Please respect the gods. Zeus punishes those who harm guests." The Cyclops shows his true nature. The giant answered rudely, "You are stupid to tell me to fear the gods. We Cyclopes don't care about Zeus or any gods. We are stronger than they are. I won't let you go because I fear Zeus. I'll do what I want with you. Tell me, where did you leave your ship? Around the point or down the shore?" I knew he was trying to trick me. I answered with a clever lie. My ship? Poseidon, god of earthquakes, smashed it on the rocks at the edge of your land. The wind drove us there. Only these men and I survived. The horror begins. The Cyclops didn't answer or show any pity. Instead, he grabbed two of my men like small puppies and smashed their heads on the floor, their brains spattered everywhere. Then he cut them into pieces and ate them, insides, flesh, and bones like a mountain lion. He washed down his terrible meal with milk. We cried out to Zeus, but could do nothing as we watched in horror. The Cyclops filled his belly with human flesh and milk, then lay down to sleep among his sheep. I thought about stabbing him with my sword where his liver would be, but I realized if I killed him, we would be trapped forever. We could never move the giant stone door, so we waited in misery for morning. Another day, another horror. When dawn came, the Cyclops built a fire and milked his sheep again. He let each mother feed her baby. Then he grabbed two more of my men for breakfast. The giant moved the huge rock to let his sheep out to graze. Then he put the rock back in place as easily as putting a lid on a quiver. His flock went to the hills with whistling sounds. Then all was quiet. Planning revenge. I thought about how to hurt the Cyclops worst. I prayed to Athena for help. In the cave was a huge green olive tree trunk that the Cyclops was trying to use as a walking stick. It was as big as a ship's mast. I cut off a 6-foot piece and had my men scrape it smooth. I sharpened one end to a point, then hardened it in the fire. I hid it under a pile of animal waste. Then we drew lots to see who would help me drive the stake into the Cyclops' eye when he was asleep. 4 strong men were chosen, plus me as the leader. In the evening, the Cyclops returned with all his animals, including the rams this time. He closed the entrance with the boulder and did all his evening work. Then he caught 2 more of my men and ate them. Now was my chance. I went forward with a bowl of my special wine and said, Cyclops, try some wine. It will wash down your meal of my men. Taste it and see what a special drink we carried on our ship. I brought it as a gift, hoping you would help us get home. But you are crazy and cruel. After this, will any other travelers ever want to visit you? The Cyclops falls for the trick. The Cyclops drank the whole bowl, then asked for more. Give me another cup, please. Tell me your name, and I'll give you a gift. We Cyclopes have wine too, but nothing like this nectar and ambrosia. I gave him 3 more bowls, and he drank them all. When I saw he was getting drunk, I said in a friendly voice, Cyclops, you asked my name? Remember, you promised me a gift. My name is Nobody. My mother, father, and all my friends call me Nobody. The giant said, I'll eat nobody last after his friends. That's my gift. Then he fell backward, his huge head rolling to one side. Sleep took him like any ordinary creature. Drunk, he vomited wine mixed with pieces of my men. Now I put our steak in the hot coals of the fire. I gave my men a pep talk to keep their courage up. When the olive steak was glowing red hot, my 4 companions and I carried it to the sleeping Cyclops. With more than normal strength, they rammed it deep into his eye. I leaned on it and turned it like a drill. Blood poured out around the hot steak. His eyelid and eyelash burned. The eyeball made a hissing sound as it cooked. The roots of the eye popped. just like the sound when a blacksmith dips hot metal into cold water. Shh! The Cyclops bellowed with pain, and the cave echoed his screams. We fell back in fear. He clawed at his face and pulled the bloody stake from his eye. He threw it away and groped around blindly with his hands. Then he howled for the other Cyclopes who lived on nearby peaks. Other Cyclopes heard him and came from different directions. They stood outside the cave and called, "What's wrong, Polyphemus? Why are you screaming in the night? You won't let us sleep? Is someone stealing your sheep? Has someone tricked you or hurt you?" From inside the cave, Polyphemus roared, "Nobody has tricked me. Nobody has hurt me." The other giants answered, "Well, if nobody has hurt you, then you must be sick. Pray to your father Poseidon for help." They went away, and I laughed at how my name trick had fooled them. Planning the escape. Polyphemus, groaning with pain, removed the door stone and sat in the opening. He spread his arms wide, hoping to catch us if we tried to run out. But I was thinking hard about how to escape. Death was right there. How could we get away? I thought and thought until a good trick came to me. The Cyclops had handsome, fat rams with thick, dark purple wool. I tied them together in groups of 3 with willow branches from the giant's bed. Under each middle ram, I tied one of my men so he could ride safely, protected on both sides. I saved the wooliest ram for myself. I curled up under his belly and gripped his thick wool tightly with my hands. We waited, breathing hard, until morning. The escape. At dawn, the rams began moving toward the pasture. The ewes bleated, wanting to be milked. The blind Cyclops, sick with pain, felt each animal's back as it passed through the doorway. But his hands never found my men riding underneath. Last came my ram, the leader, carrying me. The Cyclops patted him and said, "Sweet ram, why are you the last to leave? You usually lead the flock. You're always first to fresh grass and streams and first back to the fold at night. Are you sad about your master's eye? That villain Nobody and his friends blinded me when they got me drunk. Nobody won't escape alive. If only you could speak and tell me where he's hiding. I would smash his brains on this rock and feel better about what Nobody did to me." Then he let the ram go outside. Once safe, I untied myself and my men. We quickly gathered the fat sheep to take to our ship, looking back nervously many times. When we reached our ship, our friends were happy to see us, then sad when they counted how many were missing. I signaled them to be quiet and said in a low voice, "Load these animals quickly and let's sail away." They loaded the sheep and started rowing. When we were as far away as a shout could carry, I couldn't resist taunting the Cyclops. "Hey, Cyclops, how do you like the beating we gave you, you man-eater? Zeus and the gods have punished you for eating your guests." The Cyclops' rage and curse. The Cyclops broke off a hilltop in his fury and threw it toward my voice. It landed just in front of our ship and caused a huge wave that almost pushed us back to shore. My men begged me to be quiet. "Captain, why make the monster angrier? He almost sank us with that rock. Don't let him know where we are." But I was too proud. I shouted, "Cyclops, if anyone ever asks you who blinded you, tell them it was Odysseus, son of Laertes, who lives in Ithaca." The giant sobbed. "Now the old prophecy comes true. A wizard named Telemus once told me I would lose my eye to someone named Odysseus, but I expected a big, strong man, not a small trickster like you who got me drunk. Come back, Odysseus, and I'll treat you well. I'll ask my father Poseidon to heal my eye." I shouted back, I wish I could take your life and send you to hell. Not even the god of earthquakes could heal you then. Then Polyphemus stretched his hands toward the sky and prayed to Poseidon. Hear me, Poseidon, god of the sea. If I am truly your son, grant that Odysseus never reaches his home in Ithaca. But if he must return home some day, let it be after many years. Let him lose all his friends and find trouble waiting at home. The god heard his prayer. The Cyclops threw another huge rock, but it fell just behind our ship. The splash created a wave that actually pushed us toward the island where the rest of our fleet waited. We joined our worried friends and pulled our ship onto the beach. We divided the Cyclops' sheep equally among everyone. My men gave me the woolliest ram as a special prize. I sacrificed this ram to Zeus, burning the thigh bones, but Zeus didn't accept my offering. He was planning to destroy my ships and kill my companions. We feasted on mutton and sweet wine all day until sunset. Then we slept by the gentle waves. At dawn, we boarded our ships and set sail. We had saved our lives, but lost many dear friends.